feel from you when you play is I feel a lot of authority. Like you have a lot of, as a person, you have a lot of willpower. You work hard. It's good. It's a compliment. I mean, I feel strength from you when you play. So I think I would be excited to hear you play the third suite or the fourth suite, right? Why do I say that? Because the music of the third and the fourth suite, they need strength and authority. So this particular suite, D minor suite, maybe it has a different kind of character. I always hate, I love to tell people how I think of the piece, but it's not a good idea. I should hear from you first, because there's more than one way to imagine a piece. So what do you think is the basic mood or character of this prelude?
It's more inner feeling.
Yeah, inner feeling. Excellent. Very, very good. Yeah?
More strings, more in the, like the beat, between the beat, 2, 3.
More what?
Strength.
More strength?
Yeah.
I'll tell you how because what you said when you started was inner feeling. I think that's good. Yeah, I think of this basically as very personal. Can almost be prayer-like, or meditation, or something such as that. And I think the other thing is that it's quite sad. It's don't you feel that there's some of it is suffering, some of it is painful, right? So the thing is I know when you feel that, but how to get it out of the cello, right? So it's not easy to come out and sit down and start something like this, but if you come just even with the first note too strong, then we don't get the feeling of the personal feeling the inner feeling. Right? So take your bow now and put it on the string and try and make, let's use your words, try and make a sound that gives an inner feeling. That's so nice. Huh? So imagine if every day that you were practicing this piece, you came at the piece trying to get more of that feeling, you could deepen your interpretation of it, right? Because there's a big space between what we feel about the music and how do we get it out of the cello. That's why we practice, right? But this was a really good first try. Now, what I thought was, no, just start again, then I'll tell you. That's already better. So, but what I feel is that when you try and come at the cello very gentle like that the bow's kind of uncomfortable in your hand. Like you're not holding a bow so you can control it, right? So so now you know that you want to make that kind of sound. So find your bow grip first. So for this, the best way is to actually make the bow comfortable in your hand when it's off the cello. Pick it up in the air. Right. And if you hold it with your fingers so that you're balancing it, then you can put it on the cello. But see, it's when it's in the air that has to feel comfortable. Then we can let it down however we want. first phrase. So you've created something now which I think is more sensitive. It's in the area of what you said you feel. That's good. So what I would like to now talk about is how to get maybe more variety or interest. That's it, because it's basically, I think maybe it's too much just one sound all of the time. Right? So when I talk about sequences, do you know what the word sequence means?
Yeah.
There's some sequences in here, yes? Yeah. Show me a sequence. No, that's not what I mean. Okay. By sequence, I mean a pattern that repeats. Right? So there's some at the beginning, but let's take an easy one to hear. And then a couple of bars later, and then a couple of bars later. Right? So what am I going to ask you to do with those sequences? Different, yes, right. Each one of those is a different chord, a different harmony. Right? So it's even good to say them. If we say B flat major, and then we say A minor, and we say G minor. Just one's major and two are minor. That already maybe tells us something about how we want to color it. So, but each time you start the sequence, change dynamic, change color, and set them apart. Like it'll be a little bit like a professor. You're going to show the audience how Bach put this piece together. So you want to show them where the sequence comes. Maybe I was playing here. Somehow you have to show it. You know it's there, I know it's there, but we want everybody to know it's there, right? Yeah. Right? One more time. Better. The timing is getting much better. Do you have an idea in your head as to which one you want to be the softest?
This one.
You can choose. I don't care. The G minor? Yeah. Let's try it by itself. How soft can you play it? Even when you play soft, if this finger can hold the string a little bit, I'm hearing a little bit of sand and a little bit of ponticello, right? Just feel the cello here. It can be very light. Okay, so let's try and remember that sound. So when you come to it, you can make that color. So let's go all the way back to make that much more open. That's okay. I would love to hear something different when you get to A minor. It's the same sound.
looking at the music that way, our creativity it goes on forever. That's why everybody plays Bach differently, right? You make your own color, you do your own timing, but you have to find those interesting things in the music that you want to show. Okay? And it'll be very different from me, even though I'm showing you these things. It's going to be completely different from me. It should be. Okay? So let's work in a close space a little bit here. I want to show you a few other things, and then the idea is if I show you these things, you can take them and apply them to much, much more music. Okay? So maybe I'll tell you a little story about how my feeling about Bach has changed. When I was a kid and I was growing up, we all worshipped Casals and Bach, right? He was always talking about phrasing the natural way. And of course, for Casals, the natural way was when the notes went up, you make a crescendo, and when the notes go down, you make a diminuendo. And it's amazing how natural that is. So if there's a little crescendo. Exaggerating a little bit, but that was good. So I grew up all the Bach suites, that's the way I thought about them, okay? Then I started hanging out with early music people, even Baroque scholars, people like that, you know, but it was very interesting, and some of them were actually very fine performers too. So they started talking about the fact that in the Baroque, everything comes from the harmony, not from melodic shape, but from harmony. And that bass notes and first notes of sequences are much more important than melodic shape. So it's very interesting. You can mix them up. Both of them are very musical. But so if you take that approach, so we have an D minor chord. So the expressive note, which would be the expressive note then. First note. So it'd be that's a chord change, right? So we show and then the next chord. Then when we get to here. Upside down for me, that's what it was, right? All of a sudden the bottom becomes more important than the top, right? But when you want to show a sequence, the first note of the sequence is really important. So let's try another sequence. It'll make it clear. Let's see, there's a lot of them. What if you played here? And look for the sequence. Let's say you want to show the first note of every sequence. Just to make it clear in your brain and for all of us, why don't you put a fermata on the first note of every sequence? Put a real fermata. But it's so expressive, isn't it? It's real. Those are the notes that cry. So when you go through this, now play as printed, but lean on those notes emotionally. It shows us the sequence, and it also makes the pain that we want to feel here, right? Here's another sequence. Great. So when you are playing music like this, are you thinking about shape? Are you thinking about, I want to be loud here, I want to be soft here, I want to build this phrase, I want this phrase to give up? Is that, no? Because that's, I mean, it's the challenge of Bach, but it's also, it's the most rewarding and the most fun, because that's what makes this music alive. Otherwise, we might as well do Papa tunes, right? And get more technical. So we get more technical use out of them. But you can see how I mean, for me, it's really interesting to be looking at these sequences and figuring out where do I want my crescendos, where do I want my diminuendos, and all of those decisions, where do I want this, where do I want that, they're coming from the music. The music is inspiring you, it's giving you ideas, it's making you think, it's making you feel. So I thought what you did now was really nice. Back here, you could start softer. So you really have a top. But you showed me very well. Maybe you started too loud, right? And so my question is, as you go on, do you want to keep getting louder, or do you want to get softer into?
Keep.
Stay loud?
Yeah.
Okay, so, because you have to plan. You're the architect, right? You have to plan, it just won't happen. So if you get to this D minor really loud, and you want to keep getting loud for 3 more bars, that might be difficult, right? So you either have to save a little bit of sound here, or maybe start a little bit less. You can go da 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 dee da da dee da dee da da, maybe just only mezzo forte, and then build again into it. Okay, you want to do all the way back from here one more time, the C sharp? Right. And more. I felt a lot of intensity, and actually I felt a lot of, I would say, suffering. That's what I liked about it, because sometimes when you hear this piece and it gets loud there and it keeps getting loud, it sounds like somebody got angry or something, right? This continued to sound expressive, right? So, but the thing is, maybe for the last 3 or 4 lines you were just playing loud all of the time, so you could have more shape. Okay? Sometimes what we do, you know, the intensity keeps going, and we don't want to lose the intensity. So we can drop down a little bit, and it almost becomes our own secret. We drop down, but we keep the drama, we keep the theater, and people don't even realize that we drop down, but it gives us the chance to come up again and make the next top. So I would suggest that you work on that, looking for shape. All right? So just play this, play the A7 chord, just where we stopped. Going on. Any image in your head about what Bach is saying here, what you feel, what you want to say? We just had that four lines of big, intense playing. I just read. To me, that's like a really powerful moment, as emotional and powerful a moment almost as exists anywhere in music, because all of this outburst before, and then it's like after this emotional moment, then you are so spent. By spent, I mean dead after the emotion, that you almost can't move. It's let's exaggerate it once. Make your arms and your body so tired. Right? That's getting there. Life is over. Just to... Right. So if you take all the energy out of the hand, all the energy out. See, that has to be, I think that could really be worked on, because I can play it like this. Played it better than that, but it still sounds sort of neutral. So to make that cry, you have to lean on those notes, right? And watch me, don't move fast. Always move slow. I have this saying that I love: touch the cello the way you want it to sound, right? So if the sound is tired, if the sound is without energy, then move your hands without energy. Beautiful. How about, can you move slower to the G string? That's the feeling. Bravo. That to get really comfortable with that takes it's a little under tempo, but it had a lot of mood and feeling for me when I heard it. Mm. Right? Okay, good. So I know you've got other movements. You want to go to the Sarabande? Sarabande? I thought, well, so maybe this is the way you play it, then maybe you should take the playing in the Sarabande and put it back in the Prelude. Because they're both very introspective movements. They're both inside. They're both personal. They both suffer. So, and this you did better than the Prelude. I felt that in here. So, do you know what a Sarabande is? No. I see. That's bad. Yeah. I mean, we can spend lots of time talking about Sarabandes, but for the most important things, just to help us for this moment, okay? It's a slow dance. It is a dance, though. It's a slow dance. It's in 3, okay? And the second beat of the bar is often the one that's the most expressive beat. You probably do all those things, right? You just forgot one, I asked you, right? I'm sure you did, right? So, so I actually thought it was maybe just a little bit slow. It was a lot of it. Every once in a while, you sort of got it going in 3, but a lot of it sounded like it was in 6. So if this. We just get a little bit more motion. 1, 2, 3. So now a couple of things. A lot of the little notes. Make them more important. Make them not just louder. Make them emotionally important. Here, but it's just something to think about. I forgot to bring it to this class, but when I teach Bach in my own studio, I always have a Baroque bow and make people play with it because it's so cool. Just a few things change, and for example, a note like this, a Baroque bow, it doesn't sustain. It's hard to make so when you start playing with it, kind of nice. It makes, for Bach, this was, there were still gambas being played at the time he wrote these. He did write these for cello. But, so rather than this kind of goo that we got, that I love, but that we got used to in the Romantic period, try releasing the sound a little bit more and see how that, and one other thing, just a Baroque performance practice. When you have a trill on a dotted rhythm, stop the trill on the dot, right? Yeah. sequence and the 2 and 2. Just do that a few times. Right. It just makes it a little less ooey. Yeah. Yeah, right. Good. Here's a sequence. Next one. Next one. One thing I wanted to say, because it's such a confusing topic, all these sequences and building long phrases and things. When we put a chain of sequences together, they make a phrase. So they can make a long line. Right? So in later music after Bach, we began to think much more about long melodies, never-ending melodies, 8-bar phrases that we hold together and all that. That wasn't actually a Baroque mentality. Baroque players thought in terms of sequences, and those sequences can be put together so that, yes, you're the architect, so you have to think about how do I make those 4 bars stay together and show the sequence. But that's a little bit different than just playing a long melody up the line. Right? So that was good. You were showing the sequence, and I also felt like you were leaning on the second beat with the chord, which is important there. Right? Wanted just a couple of minutes? You want to play the Gigue? Okay, well, it's not really animato, but it is the fastest. The courante and the Gigue are the 2 fastest movements in the suite, right? Yes, so it's bright, and it's the finale of the suite, so it is going to have some bright feeling to it, yeah. But in English, Gigue is jig, so, right? So that's, I know that's, English isn't your first language, but a jig is like sort of, it's a country dance. Like, if you take off your shoes and dance in the grass. Yeah. So, and it's not a light delicate dance. It's almost like a peasant dance. So I thought I just thought you needed. It's like still energy and buoyant, but not light, right? Good. Much better. So the first note, instead of taking it here, why don't you take it out here? Okay? And actually, the way I like to think of the bow is going to do this. Yum. Yum. Ba. So it's going to do this, right? Because when we make that U, it holds the bow on the string a little longer, right? Actually, try something crazy once. Make the upbeat louder than the downbeat. Yum. Ba. Right, so to me it feels a little bit square. All of that's possible, but I'm just looking for lots of differences. After you hit the chord, it's a good time maybe to drop down so you can make a crescendo. Bravo, good. So do it slow so you get the bow. You want the bow to cover two strings, right? Now, can you play the passage faster, but still feel each time you come to the double stop, rub it like that. Right, need a little more practice just to get the bow really balanced on the two strings, but you feel it, right? So you can, because you want to show those, you want to show the melodic. Otherwise, it's just repeating the same notes over and over again. So you'd show the changing notes going through the sequence again. Okay, we have to stop. Thank you very much.